Let's show a trailer from the film, and so people at home can kind of get a better idea of what this is. It's called the Polygon. Let's bring up the trailer and show it.
Әр адам тағдыры бар ғой. Менің тағдырыма осы полигон аймағында туып жазылса, мен де өзімді ойлаймын, осында дүниеге тегін келген жоқпын.
The people of the Polygon weren't told that these were nuclear weapons and that there would be the question of radioactive fallout. They were being used as human guinea pigs.
I didn't realize it was this close to Sarzhal village.
Ой, все это опять их испытать. Вот они сволочи сидят. Это трагедия. Трагедия еще, она не только на земле, и здесь она тоже.
У жителей того региона действительно есть элементы ранней.
Stalin gave the orders, if the bomb doesn't explode, you execute Kachatov and Sakharov and all their team.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We've been watching a clip from the Polygon. One of the things that is unbelievable about this, that the site was chosen supposedly because the area was uninhabited. But from what I'm reading, there was probably 500,000 people plus in that general area. So they were just deemed expendable.
Absolutely.
It was also by design, you know, to test the effects on them. Because at this time, they didn't know what it would do. They didn't know what fallout was like. They didn't know the effects that it would have. So they just waited. And I think in the film as well, we mentioned this, they would wait for the wind to be blowing towards these villages, then drop the bombs. And then go in with their suits, tell everyone everything's fine, start testing, taking samples. So obviously, you know, everything was set up on purpose that way.
These people were used as guinea pigs.
Absolutely.
I mean, nobody really admits that, of course.
They won't.
But the Polygon itself was set up like, you know, there was pieces of the pie. So they would have one area where there would be tethered animals. I think you can see that in the clip there. And then another area where there would be like military, you know, airplanes and stuff like that. And then another area where there would be housing and maybe buildings and stuff. So they could see very clearly how the explosion would, you know, would filter through, but not far from the borders of the Polygon where the village is. So I think surreptitiously they were testing on them because, as Scott just said, they would often arrive, you know, all clad in their suits and take samples of the soil and, you know, and test the people.
One of the things that we see in the film is there's mention that, and this is an agrarian society, so these people are living in this unforgiving area. They're raising cattle, they're raising the food that they will eat, and as we mentioned, you know, before the show, as if life were not hard enough, you know, and they were already living this way. And then when it was announced that the Soviet Union was going to bring this facility there, they were happy about it at first because it looked like it was going to impact them in a positive financial way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was industry coming in, they were building roads, they were building reservoirs and bridges, and it just seemed like this big cultural shift, and everybody was very excited to be part of this might that they were building.
And then 40 years later, they were desperate for it to be closed. And of course, it was closed, and that, you know, you would imagine, like, the thrill that they had knowing that this thing that was causing so many problems for them was now closed, but that was kind of just the beginning of like another 20 years of issues that still have not been resolved, because at that time then Kazakhstan became independent. It's a very wealthy country now, but at that time it was not. So the people who, you know, were affected by the testing were given a one-off payment of what, $200 per person, and you know, at that time that was all they could afford. Now it's a super wealthy country, so they can afford to be giving these people a lot better compensation than what they are.